Hello friends, my gardening friends, how are you? It is that time of the month already for the garden collaboration. Today is April 29th, 2024. Time do fly by. I happened to be scrolling YouTube a couple of days ago and I saw that Victoria, the hostess of hashtag garden collaboration. No, what is this? End of the month garden collaboration. I always put the hashtag on there. It helps me find it easier and also to find other people who are doing similar things. Anyway, Victoria. Saw her video pop up and I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost the end of the month and I'm planning on going out of town. Hadn't even thought about my video. My hair is sticking straight up. Anyway, so I thought I got makeup on today because I'm going to the grocery store. Oh, I'm all wrinkled. Let me move this out of the way. Maybe I should start all over. I don't know if you can hear me now. Anyway, the stuff like that bothers me. So here I am. I came out here. I'm in my little barn because the wind is blowing ferociously. So I don't know what it's going to do with the microphone and with the sound. I bet already you're having trouble hearing me. Anyway, so for those of you who are new, I'm so sorry. This has been a little crazy. But for those of you who are coming back because of the garden collaboration, what I will do is just show you what I've gotten accomplished since this same time last month, which I did get some things accomplished, although of course always not as many as I would like. And I'm squinting because the sun is shining in here. Actually, it's behind a bunch of clouds. It looks like it's going to rain, so I better hurry. Anyway, I've got some plants back here on the plant stand, and I'll show you those. I'm sitting here with my garden journal in my hand. I have been keeping a garden journal since 1999, sometimes in writing, mostly handwritten, but I have some on the computer as well. Years that I ran a little farm business, I kept everything on the computer for tax purposes, but I write when I start things, the weather, what did well, what didn't do so great, and especially now that I'm starting all over again in a new location, it's real important for me to write what works and what doesn't because I can't remember it anymore. All right, so let me grab the camera and turn around and we'll do a little quick tour. Okay, so I have, you see, two light fixtures. You see the one here and then the one up high, and it's off because I only have a few little things started. So here is some cooler weather things like beets, chard, lettuce. This is the heading lettuce here, an iceberg type. And then my cabbage, no germination. Here is celery. You're supposed to keep it covered up. You see the wind? That's not the wind. That's my fan. I keep a fan going because these lights get too hot. All right, these are some flowers. Don't have them labeled, but I think we got some zinnias. They all look the same though, don't they? Got some 4 o'clocks. Ooh, and I got a couple of crane flies stuck up under here, which we'll be happy to get out. Let's open this up. Sorry about that. All right, so what have I here? I don't have my glasses on. It's blurry, so I can't tell if it's in focus for you or not. Yeah. All right. I do this thing called dense tomato planting, where you can just throw like 10 to 12 seeds of each variety in the square, and they do fine. They'll grow up like this, and then in about 3 weeks, I'll gently prick them apart and pot them up into like 4-inch pots. So this one is a variety called variegated. These were my old seeds, like 6 or more years old, so I didn't even know if any of them would come up. There's one, it's called Sunsets, Red Horizon, Red House Freestanding. Got no germination on my cayenne peppers. Those seeds were really old. There's some jalapenos back there. you can't see. Let me get around here. They are just starting to pop up. And my eggplants and peppers, they're always late. They like it to be super hot and it takes them a long time. Again, more tomatoes of all different varieties of seeds that I have. I won't bore you with all the details. Maybe when I'm potting up, I'll do a video to show you how I do that. I used to do this dense seed planting when I had a market garden, and I could grow 1,000 tomatoes in a very small area and then pot them up and put them in my greenhouse, you know, for about 3 weeks before it was time to go to market. So that worked beautifully. All right, so we've seen this. We'll move along to the outside. All right, I've shown these potted plants. Nothing spectacular here. This lettuce that I sowed is, you know, really sown too thickly, but it's doing great. There's quite a few weeds in there, but I think today I will thin it about 50% and have a salad. There's 2 or 3 radishes. The chicken got in there, scratched them all up. This is my celery from last year, and I think it's actually going to produce a seed stalk, so I'm just curious what that's going to look like. There's a big giant radish that's ready to pick, and it's an accidental because this is all spinach. I could throw that in a salad today too. These 2 potatoes that are laying here, they were sprouted in my cabinet. I'm just going to let them sprout a little more, and then I'll probably throw them in a pot. I've got a little patch of radishes here that are doing well. They're not going to get much bigger because I think I sowed them just a little bit too dense. Down here, this is an allium, a flower that we bought bulbs on sale. You know, they look like they were mostly dead. In fact, I'm a big proponent of buying mostly dead things and see if you can save them. These are dahlias here. They were like, you know, 20% of the regular price, but they do have growth. See, there's one. These. And right there. So with, just like Princess Bride, with true love, you can bring back things that are mostly dead. Whoops, I keep bumping. I've got asparagus here. Same thing, mostly dead. I'm going to give it a try, see if they'll green up. I've just got them soaking in really damp soil. And if I get some green, I will plant them. If not, I'm going to take them back and get my money back. The lady at Tractor Supply told me, keep your receipt, return it, and they will do a refund. So, strawberries. My daughter said she came out and picked some. Oh, there's going to be a kind of a big one right there. This is temporary. As soon as they're done, I'm going to plant them out actually in a bed of their own. These are all the little babies that I caught last year and started new. I always keep a mother strawberry plant in this container here, and then I catch sprouts so that I can increase my supply. So that's mostly what you see there. This is a little bit of curly parsley. It grows so slow. I think that's a weed. There's quite a few little curly parsleys. I've got nasturtiums planted in my hanging baskets. And there's a pretty little pot of mixed lettuces. All right, not too much to see. Let's look at the chickens while we're over here. I brought you back here last time. Chickens are getting bigger, the babies. Say hello, chickie bitties. Nobody's in solitary confinement. So I think they've finally stopped pecking each other. And one day last week, we've started to let them out this door out into the run. And they really like that. And there's the old girls. Whoop. Roaming around, and even Princess Pearl, who was humiliated that we had to cut her wings, clip her wings so that she would stop flying over the 5-foot fence. But she's a faithful egg layer, one every day. She's very smart. something that I wanted to show you. Ooh, bright light. That I forgot to show 2 weeks ago. I did a little tour of the farm, the property, but I didn't come this way. There is a peach tree here. There's 2 of them, in fact, right here, and they are all just covered in peaches, as you see. Now, whether they are edible or not, I have no idea, and the strange thing is that they're planted over here in the edge of the woods. So I am thinking the previous owners years ago when they gardened had a compost pile. So these may not even be like an edible variety or quality. So anyway, let's walk back and see the raspberries. Last time we came back here, they were kind of just starting to leaf out. So they have really put on some growth, and then I can show you this. Also, we got a tiller, which I'll show you in a minute, but we did get this area just broken, just on the surface. And here's the raspberries back here. They're very kind of sparse, and there's also a couple of roses in there that I've got to cut out. But just for example, you can see that's a rose. I'm looking for some with some buds on it that I can show you. Here we are. Oh, I don't want to touch it with the wind blowing because can you see that they have flower buds on them that are beginning to open. So maybe by next month I'll actually have a few raspberries to show you. All right, you see these 2 strips that we've tilled. This is going to be for a couple of rows of blueberry bushes, at least 1 row of blueberry, and then if my asparagus survives, we'll do a row here. And you see that this field here, this paddock or whatever you want to call it, has not been broken yet, but we will get to that eventually. All right, walking back toward the barn, and you can see what I'm calling my garden this year. So here in this lean-to is my tiller. I started to pull it out, but it is so heavy. It is a 1974 Troy built, and my husband bought, the engine worked, but it was worn out. So he bought a Honda knockoff engine and replaced it for me. So the body of this thing is a monster. It is like a tractor. And it doesn't have very many safety features like modern ones do. And it's got all these gears and handles and like Willy Wonka, the Wonka wash. But I did learn how to do it. And between me and my son, we've been getting her done. So this is all broken up nicely, and I've gotten like 3 rows rowed up, and I'm not even going to do a close-up. The soil is very clay. The front row is flowers, the second row is some potatoes, cilantro, more radishes and carrots, and then the third row is beets. So we'll see how that goes. You can see the rhubarb over there, that it has put up a nice flower stalk. Oh, I did want to show you this tree. It has these little fruits on it. It may be a plum. It looks like a plum. And then again, it could be like an ornamental, where it doesn't actually make edible fruit. But I won't know until the time comes. Let's see. All right, there's one right there. Not sure if you can see that little fruit right there by my thumb. Let me let it go and then see if I can get it to focus there. All right, so could be cherry, could be plum. They're very similar anyway. They got a stone in the middle. So we'll see. We'll figure that out next time. All right, the peonies still have not bloomed. We'll walk over here and get a closer look. I'm afraid you might miss them. So when they bloom, like they will probably bloom before the end of the month next month. Peonies, gorgeous. They're gonna pop open and be so beautiful, and there are so many of them. I can't wait. Got my clothes hanging on the line again today, hoping that it won't rain. And I have these clematis that have finally started blooming. Beautiful blooms. I've really always wanted one of these. And the native plant people say you should pull them out and kill them because they're invasive, but I'm like, no, I'm not. I think that they're gorgeous. And then we'll walk across the yard. Let me go in the fence. Everything is so kind of dirty back here. But that's all right. There's another clematis on this side, and the blooms are just a little bit darker. And also Bunny is over here. Y'all remember Bunny? Hello, Bunny. Bunny has had a bad eye, and my daughter's been treating her with coconut oil, and it has improved so much. Hello, Bun Bun. Her name is Maybelline. She gets to be out frequently and roam around, eat grass, but not right now. If we let her out here, a hawk would get her. Okay, and here's the other clematis I wanted to show because it is so gorgeous. Wowza. They're beautiful. Yes, they are. So before I go, it was my idea, right, Victoria, to do like a question of the month so that you could get to know us. And last month I forgot the question and I did the wrong one. Last month I said the question was, how did you get involved in gardening? How did you get started? So I shared about my grandmother and stuff, but that was this month's question. Last month's question was, how old were you when you started gardening? So maybe I talked about that a little bit last time, but I will just say that I have this memory of early childhood and post-Alphabets cereal and also Super Sugar Crisp. They had little terrariums about this big. It was a plastic dome with a little black sponge and a tiny pack of seeds. And you wet the sponge, put the seeds on top, close the dome, the seeds sprouted, and then you could plant those out. And I remember how excited I was as a little person. I had to be 3 or 4 years old. My grandfather, I must have showed everybody. We lived right next door to my grandparents, and my uncle, he was, always with us, and I must have just went around and showed everybody, and I was so excited. So they got excited with me. They all gardened. My grandfather made me a special little place. He owned his own store. It was right nearby, and he sold fish bait. So in the back of the store, he had like a minnow vat where he sold minnows, child's paradise, to play there. And then he had a worm bed, and he would raise his own red wigglers and, sell them to fishermen. We lived very near a lake. So anyway, he made me a little spot in the worm bed to plant my little transplants. So that was my first gardening experience, my own personal, at about 3 or 4 years old. Now I did Google the Alphabets and the Super Sugar Crisp, and I did find, pictures of that. So I'm gonna just pop them in here at the end so that you can see those and maybe Google it. It's really interesting, I think. But I remembered radishes. That's what I remembered growing. And but the list of seeds does not include radishes. So now I'm wondering if maybe whatever I planted, like they mentioned endive. Well, endive doesn't really grow great in the South. It's just too hot, and we lived in Mississippi. And so I'm thinking that to keep me from being too disappointed, maybe my grandparents sowed radishes out there. And if they did, I mean, I'm so grateful that they did, because I felt like it was a success. I think success early in your life is important, so that you will love things and continue doing them. Anyway, all right, enough about that. I got to go to the grocery store. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the other channels. I know for sure Victoria, she's already got her video up. Maria at the Richardson Simple Living, and then there's a few other ladies who may join later on. Maybe they join this month, so just go down and check the playlist in my description box, but also when you go look at Victoria's videos, look at the playlist under hers, because she may have a few people in hers that I don't have on mine. Anyway, thanks a lot, happy gardening, and be sure to come back next month and see how everything's doing. Bye-bye.